Here's the general time frame. Our embassy in Cairo issued an apology preemptively on behalf of private U.S. citizens and whatever they might say. And they did this on 9/11. I want to read to you the statement. The Embassy of the United States in Cairo condemns the continuing efforts by misguided individuals to hurt the religious feelings of Muslims, as we condemn efforts to offend believers of all religions. Today, the 11th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks on the United States, Americans are honoring our patriots and those who serve our nation as the fitting response to the enemies of democracy. Respect for religious beliefs is a cornerstone of American democracy, except for the Catholic Church when it comes to abortion. And then the U.S. government doesn't give a rat's rear end. We firmly reject the actions by those who abuse the universal right of free speech to hurt the religious beliefs of others. Now, what is that about? Well, it turns out it's about two things. Now remember, this statement was issued before anything had happened. Nothing had happened yet. It was their 9/11 statement from Embassy Cairo. Well, there are two things going on. You're not going to believe this. The first is that some guy is making a movie about the Prophet Muhammad that is unflattering. And he's using his First Amendment free speech rights to do it. People have seen trailers of the movie. It is what it is. It's apparently highly offensive. And so this statement is put out to cover for that and to criticize that American for doing this. They didn't name him. They didn't identify what project, but that's one of the two that they're upset about. So our embassy in Cairo puts out a statement condemning Americans who would utilize and use their First Amendment rights, their free speech rights, to say something to make a movie, to apologize to Muslims in advance for it. The second thing, get this, there are also people who believe that the Reverend Terry Jones is to blame for this. The preacher in Gainesville, Florida, who at one time threatened to burn the Koran and was talked out of it. There are actually people who believe that this happened yesterday because of an American preacher and whatever he says, thinks, or has alluded to perhaps doing involving Islam. Now, what does that mean? That means that we are to accept the notion that any criticism of this religion justifiably makes these people nuts, and they attack our embassy, and then they kill our ambassador, and we've got it's his fault. It's not theirs. It's not the militant Islamists' fault. No, they're sitting there minding their own business. 9/11, they don't even remember what the significance of the date is. They hear about the movie, they hear about the preacher, and they go nuts at our embassy. We're supposed to believe this. This is your administration, folks. This is what they believe, and this is what Embassy Cairo means when they say the Embassy of the United States in Cairo condemns the continuing efforts by misguided individuals to hurt the religious feelings of Muslims. That is a condemnation of Americans. Misguided individuals to hurt the religious feelings of Muslims, thereby justifying, for all intents and purposes, whatever actions Muslims with hurt feelings take after this. The fact of the matter is that this would have happened on 9/11. I'm convinced this was going to happen anyway. It doesn't matter about the movie. It doesn't matter about Terry Jones. I don't think this was about the movie at all. I don't think this is about Terry Jones at all. And I'm shocked that there are reasonable Americans who want to lay blame for this on Americans, and thereby accept the notion that there are Americans abusing free speech rights, and therefore Embassy Cairo was justified in this embarrassing statement that they put out. So they put the statement out, and what's that supposed to do? It's supposed to mollify. And it's supposed to mollify the militant Islamists and keep them at bay and say, look, it's 9/11 and we understand. And meanwhile, these people are outside our embassy shouting, we're all Osama's Obama. There are millions of Osama's Obama. They weren't talking about the guy making the movie, and they weren't talking about Terry Jones. So that's the first thing that happened. That statement goes out, apologizing in advance for private U.S. citizens exercising their free speech.